Today we step into a Rome that no longer exists, a city alive with marble and ambition, streets bustling with 1,000,000 souls, from 27 BC to 180 AD. I'm your guide, and together we will walk the stone-paved avenues of the greatest metropolis the world had ever seen. Rome was not merely a city, it was a civilization given physical form. Augustus would one day boast, "I found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble." And in those words, the story of transformation begins. The city had survived decades of civil war, with crumbling temples and streets littered with debris. The population huddled in squalor, perhaps 800,000 souls, squeezed into a city still reeling from conflict. Augustus arrived, a man of vision, and set about remaking the urban landscape. 14 administrative regions carved the city into manageable parts, each governed by magistrates who enforced law, maintained order, and kept the city alive. For the first time, Rome had a fire brigade and a police force, the Vigiles, ready to battle flames that had long devoured neighborhoods. Temples rose from ruin at a breathtaking pace. 82 restored in a single year, each stone a statement of ambition, each column a testament to permanence. Over 2 centuries, Rome would reach the pinnacle of its power and beauty. 1 million inhabitants, a population unmatched in Europe for over 1,500 years, crowded into a city of impossible architecture. The Pantheon, rebuilt under Hadrian, which stand with its concrete dome spanning 43.3 meters, unreinforced, a marvel that defied time. And the Colosseum, seating 50,000 spectators, would host games that thrilled, terrified, and mesmerized a civilization. Yet Rome's greatness was not built solely on monuments. Its lifeblood was infrastructure. 11 aqueducts carried over 1,000,000 cubic meters of water daily, enough to provide every resident with running water, fountains, baths, and private households alike. The Aqua Claudia, a marvel of engineering, stretched 69 kilometers, carried atop arches that soared 27 meters into the sky. Walk beneath them and you trace the veins of an empire, carrying sustenance across time and space. Roads extended like arteries from the heart of Rome to the furthest provinces. The Via Appia, maintained meticulously since 312 BC, stretched 540 kilometers to southern Italy. Couriers could travel it in days. Messages reached the most distant corners of an empire spanning 2 million square miles. This was an urban machine built for endurance, a city designed not only to impress, but to last. Now imagine walking the streets of this colossal city. Wealthy citizens, the elite 5%, lived in domus houses that rose 2 stories, centered on an atrium collecting rainwater, marble floors underfoot, frescoes and mosaics adorning the walls, private baths, kitchens, the rare luxury of space and privacy. But for the vast majority, life was vertical, stacked in insulae that soared 6 or 7 stories. Law limited their height, but ambition and population pressure ignored the rules. The ground floor housed shops and taverns. The upper levels cramped living quarters reached by narrow staircases. Water had to be fetched from public fountains. Fires were constant threats, and the higher one lived, the more precarious the existence. Noise never ceased. Streets rang with the grind of iron wheels on stone, the shouts of vendors, the laughter and quarrels of families sharing space that could not be theirs alone. Chamber pots emptied into the streets, the smell ever present, a reminder that urban life demanded endurance. The poet Juvenal lamented the impossibility of sleep amidst the chaos. For the citizens of Rome, privacy was a luxury denied. Yet life thrived in the public domain. Markets, forums, and baths became stages for interaction. Commerce, gossip, philosophy, politics, humanity played out in view of all. Public baths were more than hygiene. They were a civic ritual. By the 4th century, Rome would boast 800 to 900 baths. But even in the early imperial era, the grandeur was staggering. Walk into the baths of Trajan, and you enter a world equal parts gymnasium, spa, library, and gallery. Courtyards where men wrestled, lifted weights, played ball games. Tepidaria warmed bodies before the heat of the caldaria steamed flesh. Slaves scraping oil and grime with bronze strigils. Frigidaria shocked the system with icy plunges, floors and walls heated by the hypocaust system, a Roman invention that circulated hot air below the tiles, underfoot and through walls. Entry was affordable, almost free. The baths were a place where social boundaries blurred. Senators, merchants, laborers, all equal in the water. Women joined as well, though in scheduled hours, proving that urban life in Rome included both social and gender complexity. Food, too, was a matter of statecraft. Bread, oil, wine, and other staples flowed freely to hundreds of thousands. Grain dole, established by the Republic and expanded under Augustus, fed citizens and secured loyalty. But the true spectacle, the opiate of the masses, was entertainment. The Circus Maximus stretched before a sea of 250,000 spectators, hosting chariot races where four factions, the Reds, Blues, Greens, and Whites, fueled rivalries so fierce riots were common. Charioteers became legends, their fame surpassing that of senators. The Colosseum, completed under Titus in 80 AD, brought spectacle to unimaginable heights. 50,000 spectators packed the elliptical arena. Behind the scenes, the Hypogeum, a two-story basement with 28 elevators operated by slaves, brought animals and gladiators into view as if by magic. Lions appeared from trapdoors, and naval battles were recreated with floodable arenas. Gladiatorial combat, exotic horarial combat, exotic hunts, mythological reenactments all merged into theater and political messaging. The city's rulers understood. A fed and entertained populace remained manageable, loyal, and compliant. Despite the grandeur, fragility lingered. Fires, disease, and political turmoil could undo centuries in an instant. Nero's Great Fire of 64 AD destroyed 10 of the 14 regions, leaving hundreds of thousands homeless. Plague, famine, foreign invasions, and misrule lurked always beyond the monuments. Yet the city endured. By 161 AD, the philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius ascended the throne. Unlike his predecessors, Marcus did not crave power. Educated in philosophy, guided by the wisdom of Antoninus Pius, he ruled with intellect and virtue. But his reign coincided with catastrophe. Troops returning from the east brought plague, a disease that would claim millions across the empire. Rome itself lost thousands daily. Death piled in the streets. Funeral pyres burned without ceasing, the stench of mortality hanging in the air. Marcus remained steadfast, administering the empire even as chaos engulfed his city. War followed. The Marcomanni crossed the Danube, invading Italy itself, the first foreign incursion since the Gallic sack centuries prior. Marcus raised armies from gladiators, slaves, and bandits to replace the dead, fighting to preserve what already slipped through his fingers. And yet, in the solitude of his tent on the frontier, he wrote his Meditations, a private record of Stoic thought. You have power over your mind, not events outside it. Realize this and you will find strength. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Words not of triumph but of endurance, a man's attempt to hold virtue while witnessing collapse. He never enjoyed the Rome he ruled. While the Pantheon and Colosseum stood perfect, Marcus faced a city and empire under threat. He died in 180 AD, possibly from plague, leaving behind a world slipping toward instability. His son, Commodus, succeeded him, a ruler of greed and cruelty, unraveling the golden age with every decision. Yet, through all human failings, Rome endured. Its architecture remained. The Pantheon survived by becoming a church. Aqueducts, roads, and monuments persisted in silence, witnessing centuries of decay and rebirth. Rome did not merely build a city, it built the blueprint of civilization. Concrete domes, arches, aqueducts, grid streets, public infrastructure, welfare systems all became templates for future urban life. The city, once home to 1 million, could fall to tens of thousands in the Dark Ages, yet the physical city endured. Marble, stone, and concrete outlived empires, emperors, and plagues. Augustus's vision of permanence remained visible, a testament that while humans are fleeting, ideas, engineering, and architecture can achieve immortality. As the centuries stretched on, Rome became more than a collection of bricks, marble, and stone. It was a living organism, a city that pulsed with commerce, debate, spectacle, and life. Step into the Forum Romanum, and you witness the political heartbeat of an empire. Magistrates, senators, and citizens jostled beneath triumphal arches and monumental columns, their voices mixing with the clang of construction and the chants of street vendors. Every relief, every carved inscription, every marble step told a story of conquest, faith, law, and ambition. Trajan's Forum, completed in 113 AD, stretched 300 meters, a stage for imperial authority. Trajan's Column, spiraling 38 meters into the sky, depicted 2,500 figures from the Dacian Wars, each etched soldier and civilian frozen in stone, a narrative of power, sacrifice, and human endeavor. Yet for all its grandeur, the real genius of Rome lay in how the city worked for its people. Walk past the temples, and the smells of food, the cries of merchants, the laughter of children filled the air. The city was engineered not only to awe, but to sustain life on a scale unmatched anywhere in the ancient world. 11 aqueducts carried water from distant mountains, cascading into fountains, baths, and homes. Each day, 1,000,000 cubic meters of water flowed through stone channels, carrying with it the promise of hygiene, health, and order. In the baths of Caracalla, completed in 2116 AD, thousands could bathe simultaneously, surrounded by mosaics, marble columns, and statues that whispered both luxury and civic pride. Yet Rome's streets and buildings were not only practical, they were a stage. Life unfolded with intensity. Children played in alleys while merchants hawked wares. Laborers carried water, swept streets, repaired walls. Fires remained a constant threat, their smoke curling into the sky, but the city had learned resilience. Augustus's Bigilus 7,000 men organized into 7 cohorts, fought nightly blazes, often risking life to protect the densely packed wooden insulae. Every day was a negotiation between human ambition and human vulnerability. Rome's citizens, no matter their wealth, were participants in the city's drama. The elite, residing in lavish domus, enjoyed private gardens, atria, and baths, but they were never isolated. Public life demanded interaction, and the city demanded attention. For the majority living in insulae, survival required skill, adaptation, and constant vigilance. Here, humanity revealed its unvarnished nature. Crowding bred ingenuity and tension. Family life, commerce, and politics intertwined in stairways, markets, and courtyards. Privacy was fleeting, connection constant. Entertainment, meanwhile, transformed the city into a theater of human emotion. The Circus Maximus roared with chariot races, fans screaming for their factions. The colors of the reds, blues, greens, and whites were not mere hues. They were symbols of loyalty, passion, and identity. The Colosseum turned spectacle into obsession. Each gladiatorial fight, a display of courage, skill, and often, death. Exotic animals from distant lands, lions, elephants, even crocodiles, were hunted to appear as if by magic in the arena. Behind the scenes, hidden elevators, trapdoors, and hydraulic mechanisms orchestrated illusion with precision. Roman engineers were masters of both spectacle and deception, merging art, science, and entertainment to keep citizens captivated. Their fears and desires balanced on the edge of fascination, and yet, amid the grandeur, fragility never vanished. Plagues, invasions, and mismanagement shadowed the Golden Age. The Antonine plague, brought from campaigns in the east, killed millions, and Rome itself, thousands perished daily. Bodies filling streets, funeral pyres burning ceaselessly. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher and emperor, remained steadfast, traveling, administering justice, and writing meditations that would survive millennia. His words were not prescriptions for empire, but for the human soul. You have power over your mind, not events outside it. What stands in the way becomes the way. In his reflections, one sees the tension between impermanence and endurance, between a city's glory and its citizens' mortality. Wars pressed against Rome's borders. Germanic tribes crossed the Danube, bringing the first direct threat to Italy in centuries. Recruitment became desperate. Gladiators, slaves, and even bandits were drawn into the legions. Marcus himself spent years on the front, leading armies while attempting to preserve the city's heart. His death in 180 AD marked the symbolic end of Rome's golden age. Commodus, his son, inherited power and squandered it, turning a city of marble into one teetering toward decay. Yet the monuments remained. The Pantheon, the aqueducts, the Colosseum, they stood indifferent to human folly. Time did what no conqueror could. By the 5th century, Rome's population had dwindled, and by the Dark Ages, the city that had held 1 million souls now harbored only tens of thousands. Yet the physical city persisted. The Pantheon became a church, sparing it from destruction. Aqueducts, though cut, remained across the landscape, a blueprint of hydraulic genius. The Colosseum lost its marble but stood silent and eternal. Rome proved a paradox. Human power is fleeting, yet vision, engineering, and architecture can endure. Modern cities still carry the DNA of ancient Rome. Concrete domes echo the Pantheon. Subways trace subterranean grids reminiscent of Roman tunnels. Welfare systems descend from the grain dole. Public entertainment traces its roots to spectacles of the Circus Maximus and the Colosseum. Rome's influence is subtle, structural, invisible until one walks through a city and realizes the lessons embedded in streets, aqueducts, plazas, and monuments. Beyond technology, Rome's story is about human ambition and impermanence. The city demonstrates that one can build for eternity, yet human endeavor is fragile. Augustus transformed a decayed city into a marble. Marcus Aurelius confronted catastrophe with wisdom and virtue, yet even the mightiest emperors could not prevent plague, war, and misrule. Rome endured not because of kings or generals, but because it was conceived on a scale meant to outlast them. Imagine walking along the Via Sacra, the grand street of triumphs, flanked by temples and basilicas, citizens bustling, merchants shouting, children laughing. Across the city, aqueducts span the skyline, fountains gurgle with clean water, baths echo with the splash of hundreds of bathers. And in the distance, the Colosseum stands monumental, a testament to both human ingenuity and the appetite for spectacle. This was Rome at its height: beauty, function, chaos, and life, all intertwined in a perfect, precarious balance. Rome's genius lay in integration, infrastructure and entertainment, governance and philosophy, architecture and social welfare all intertwined. 1 million people could live in relative comfort, enjoy leisure, receive food, and participate in civic life. And yet, the same systems allowed for control, spectacle, and obedience. Bread and circuses were not mere indulgences, they were the glue that held the city together, the invisible scaffolding beneath the visible marvels. Marcus Aurelius's meditations remind us that human virtue matters more than human conquest. Standing beneath the Pantheon's dome or gazing at Trajan's column, one sees evidence of endurance. But the soul of the city, its people, its laws, its culture, required careful stewardship. The decline that followed Marcus's death was not inevitable, it was human. Civilization is fragile, even when built of marble and stone. Fast forward to today. When we walk through Rome, we walk through layers of human history, from golden age to decay, from empire to eternal city. The aqueducts, though silent, speak of engineering unmatched for centuries. The Colosseum whispers of human fascination with spectacle, mortality, and courage. The Pantheon remains, dome intact, a testament to vision and ambition. Rome is proof that the cities we build can outlast us, that infrastructure, design, and public welfare can echo through millennia, shaping lives we will never see. And yet, the story carries a warning. The Golden Age lasted only 200 years. Power, ambition, and brilliance could not prevent the forces of disease, war, and human folly from eroding what had been achieved. Rome demonstrates the tension between human aspiration and impermanence, between the ephemeral nature of leadership and the enduring impact of civilization itself. Marble outlasts emperors, water flows beyond generations, streets echo long after citizens vanish. Rome, the eternal city, teaches that vision matters, but so does care, foresight, and adaptation. It built not just monuments but systems that allowed millions to live with dignity, safety, and purpose. It offered entertainment, education, water, and shelter lessons still relevant to urban planners today. Every subway tunnel, every civic library, every public fountain in modern cities carries a trace of Roman thinking. The DNA of Rome persists. And so, when you walk through Rome today, consider the paradox: a city where emperors fell, empires ended, and plagues raged, but where architecture, vision, and public infrastructure endured. Augustus left marble. Marcus Aurelius left wisdom. Rome, the idea, the template, The city endured. From brick to marble, from chaos to order, from golden age to decay, the city stands, a silent witness to human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring power of vision. We have walked its streets, peered into insula apartments, marveled at aqueducts and baths, felt the roar of the Circus Maximus and the tension of the Colosseum. We have glimpsed the philosopher king, confronted plague and war, and witnessed the fragility of life against the permanence of stone. Rome reminds us that greatness is possible, that humans can create cities, systems, and art that outlive their creators. But it also warns that perfection is fleeting, that every golden age is temporary, and that vigilance, wisdom, and care must accompany ambition. Augustus found Rome a city of bricks. He left it a city of marble. Marcus Aurelius inherited marble, guided it with virtue, and left it to the ravages of history. And yet, the city endured. Its streets, aqueducts, forums, temples, and monuments remain, teaching, inspiring, and reminding us of what humans can achieve and what they can lose. Rome built for eternity, and in that endurance lies the ultimate lesson. Vision, engineering, and care can transcend mortality, but human virtue, foresight, and stewardship determine whether greatness survives or crumbles. Rome, the eternal city, the blueprint of civilization, the stage of humanity's triumphs and failures, still stands. The Golden Age lasted but 2 centuries, yet its impact resonates today in every public square, every civic building, every plan for a city meant to endure. Marble remains, aqueducts stand, roads stretch across continents, and monuments whisper stories of glory and loss. Rome proves one enduring truth: humans may perish, emperors may fail, empires may fall, but a city built with vision, ambition, and care can transcend time, teaching lessons millennia later. And as we leave this ancient world, consider modern cities, modern engineering, modern governance. They all carry the imprint of Rome. Every subway line, every fountain, every civic library, every grain distribution system owes a debt to the eternal city. The idea of Rome endures because it was never only about power. It was about civilization, scale, and humanity itself. 2,000 years later, we still walk in its shadow, still marvel at its audacity, still learn from its triumphs and failures. Thank you for walking the streets of ancient Rome with me. What other lost civilizations or golden ages should we bring back to life? Share your thoughts, and together we'll continue to explore humanity's greatest achievements.